So, for any scout leaders sat out there that's listening and thinking, I'd love to run archery, but I don't know where to start. Well, now you know. Go and start on the instructor award, or go and speak to your district to see if you can get an assessment done for your adventurous activity permit. Yeah, who knows? You might end up with Jesse.
Welcome to a different kind of archery podcast where we're all about the real stories, practical tips and the shared passion for this timeless sport. Join us for insightful conversations with archers, experts and enthusiasts from all walks of life. From hitting the golds to the pursuit of personal growth through archery, we've got it all. So get ready to knock your arrow and take aim at a world of archery knowledge. This is Unstrung Archery.
Hello and welcome back to Unstrung Archery, the podcast that keeps its spine straight, anchor solid, and conversations flying straight down the line. I'm Neil, and as always, joined by Nye.
Hi everyone, I'm Nye. Hope we're all keeping well back at home.
And today's episode is a special one because we're not only diving into the crossover between archery and scouting, but we're joined by somebody who lives at that exact intersection.
Yeah, our guest tonight is Jesse Phillips, long-suffering clubmate of mine, archer, scout leader, former national champion, and also champion of getting young people into archery and shooting from the Scouts.
Mm-hmm. So, we've all run archery. We've all stood in a soggy field with a string in one hand and a clipboard in the other. So tonight, let's unpack how we make that easier, better, and more accessible, especially with Archery GB in the mix.
And I think first thing we need to do is to get allow Jesse the chance to introduce themselves to us, because obviously Jesse and me know each other well, but the listeners might not have come across you before, Jesse. So would you be so kind as to introduce yourself, my friend?
Yeah, of course. Hi everyone, my name is Jesse. I'm coach for Morecambe Bay Archers. I also help out at Lancaster University as well, and I am a scout leader as well. I started archery going on 9 years ago now. Funnily enough, the Scouts were looking for more people to do an instructor's course, and it was subsidised, so I signed up. I loved the experience, and then I joined my local club. Sort of things blossomed from there. I ended up becoming a level 1 coach, as was, and a development coach now as well.
Oh, nice one. Hey, thanks, Jesse. And I think you've got something to lead us off for today.
Okay, so obviously it was Scouts that led you into archery. But obviously I think a few of us understand what it's like running archery in a club setting. But what was it like the first time running archery for Scouts? It's a very different breed. So I'll let you explain that one in all its glory and chaos.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone who's worked with children and young people in general know that sessions can be hectic, to say the least. And with scouting, we really like to inspire an adventurous spirit and seeking to do more and learn more and, make the most out of your experiences. And I think nothing probably says that more than the archery sessions we run with the Scouts. Usually the ranges that we run on are fairly short ranges, say 9-10 meters, but they are on scout camps, so people are running around doing activities and then they come to the range that is set aside for archery. I tend to do lots of games with the Scouts, bursting balloons, playing darts with the archery equipment. Of course, the equipment we have is always interesting. Usually scouting is, because it's charitable, run on quite a tight budget. So we do often end up with, hand-me-down bows or very old equipment, which needs a lot of maintenance. Thankfully, all the scout campsites around me do quite a good job of maintaining that equipment. And I think it speaks to the longevity of the equipment that we use, that we can still use a lot of it. And really, archery and scouting is about giving the young people that are doing it an experience that they wouldn't otherwise have, and inspiring them to try something new and try something different. And I think that goes for a lot of sports in general, not only in scouting, but kids' activities and kids' sports, getting people to try something new, and perhaps it takes them somewhere and they really enjoy it, and they take it from that point onwards, join their local club. I know I've had one or two people that I've coached as Scouts that have gone on and started at their local clubs and really enjoyed the sport. I think it's fair to say that quite a lot of Scout leaders who do archery do get involved in archery. Not as many as I'd like, but do get involved in the archery community in general. And quite a lot of archers did start archery from having a taster session with the Scouts and finding that they loved the sport.
I did actually get 3 of our leaders to come over and actually join our club in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, it does bode well to come in through scouting and then just actually scouting doesn't do archery enough. For somebody to actually progress as an archer, so getting as many people over to Archery GB clubs is kind of my passion at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's fair to say it's not only Archery GB clubs. Scouting now offers clout and field archery as well, and so even things like BLBS or NFAS can benefit as well. I know a lot of the archery instructors we have in West Lancashire are field archers as well. And they see a great benefit, and obviously there's a great combination with scouting and the love for nature, and then doing field archery and being surrounded by woodland.
There's clubs out there that don't have that kind of land to do field archery on. Scouts, we need to use more of these places.
Absolutely.
And I was just going to follow on, Jesse, because a lot of what you've said about what scouting and art gives you, what would you say is that gives about archery that's a good fit for the values of scouting? So what values do we have in archery that are also important in scouting, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, scouting is about preparing young people for the future. And a lot of our values are tied to, respect, cooperation, leadership, and general life skills. And these are all things that you can learn through taking part in any sport, but archery is especially good at. I mean, we have a lot of rules and regulations in archery that really tie into values of respect and care for each other. We do a lot of cooperation. No one can achieve anything in any sport, even individual sports like archery, without working with others, without learning how to lead a team, without learning how to be the best version of themselves. And that's really what scouting wants people to do, as we're trying to get young people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. We're not trying to push them towards our idealized versions of themselves. We're trying to push them towards doing what they want to do, being the best themselves that they can be. And that, archery, as far as I'm concerned, it is just a venue for doing that. And I think it's a fantastic venue for doing that.
Oh, well said, my friend. Well said.
So let's have a look at some of the challenges and triumphs of archery in scouting. Obviously, this is quite a big topic to cover, given that scouting is, worldwide. Let's focus just mainly on where we know best. But let's have a think of what are the biggest hurdles that you faced trying to offer archery to your group. And if I don't know whether you partake in district or county events or anything like that, but is there anything you've come across that's been a big hurdle to archery and scouting?
Yeah, I mean, the thing to remember when it comes to archery and scouting, or well, really anything in scouting, is that not only is it a charitable organisation, so you're relying on a lot of volunteers giving up their time for free, but it's also the world's largest co-educational youth movement. There is so many people wanting to do so much, and there's only so much you can do in any given amount of time with any given number of volunteers. The things that I think have affected archery and scouting most in recent years are we do need more volunteers. We need more people to step up and do the permit scheme or the instructor scheme through Archery GB to be able to lead archery and scouting, give young people these experiences. I know I've done events before where it's been a district event or a county event, and there's been 200 or 300 kids queuing up to get to have a go at archery, which is fantastic, and it's great that the kids want that experience. But we need more people to facilitate that. I know recently we've done some events as a county which have involved multiple types of archery to get more young people to have a go at more archery. So we might have a few leaders who specialise in target archery and they're on the target range, and a couple that specialise in field archery and they're on the field range. And so people can split up and kids can try one or the other or both, which of course really helps. And having that wide variety of experience does help. But it can also be difficult at times if a leader has a background exclusively in field archery and another one they're working with has a background exclusively in target archery. It's not uncommon for two different leaders to use two different sets of terminology and end up confusing each other on the range. I know I've been there before with hilarious consequences, but no, as long as archery is available to the scouts, the kids will always love it, and as long as it is safe, it's a good activity for them to do.
Absolutely. And while we're on this topic of the archery instructor award, which has actually changed slightly, and that's what I want to cover, this is now the instructor subscription. So this is important because it gives you your proof of competency. So demonstrating your commitment to high standards, you've got an annual competency check, which is essential for obviously building the trust with the permit scheme for scouting as well. You've also gives you CPD, so that's continuous professional development opportunities. There's an online platform which actually allows you now to keep your skills and knowledge current with the latest techniques and methodologies that are coming out of Archery GB. It also, I believe you actually get access to the Archery UK magazine as well. So whilst you're not a member of AGB, you do get the Archery UK magazine and the e-zines, also any networking opportunities that keep you informed as well. So this is really good for scouting instructors. However, this part takes the biscuit. So obviously with scouting, we already get a discount with Go Outdoors. This also gives us a 15% or up to 15% off at Decathlon. So we've got that as well. We've also got 40% off at Merlin Archery. So Merlin Archery have got on board with this as well. 10% off at Clickers, 10% off at Wales Archery, 20% off at Maven Optics, up to 20% off at Indigo Archery, and discounted hotel rates with Hotel Planner as well. Scout leaders, I know a lot of those, especially if you are looking at getting into it a bit more, especially that Merlin Archery one, having up to 40% off is going to be big, especially if you are a group that's looking at potentially getting some equipment yourself for up to 40% off going through Merlin. You can't beat that. So basically how this works is if you are new to the instructor award, your subscription is included in the course price. After the initial 12 months, you'll be then contacted via email to renew your instructor subscription, ensuring that you continue to benefit from all that I've just spoken about. Obviously, all the resources and support provided by Archery GB. The instructor subscription is £30 for the year. However, I'm going to have a look into this because I'm not 100% sure on this, so don't quote me on this. But there is also an Archery Activity Partners scheme, which if potentially there's an ability for district or county level to manage this and join the scheme, then we'll be able to get the instructor subscriptions at a discount if the district and or county manage it. So anything from 1 to 5 instructors, it's £25 per instructor. Over 5 instructors, it's £20. So they can get a potential saving for the groups out there. I am going to do a little bit of digging on that one, especially when it involves the Scouts. So I'm going to go through my ambassador program to see if there's something we can get all that connected up with, or if there is anything in the pipeline there. So yeah, it's fantastic. It's much better than getting to the end of your 3 years and panicking as to how you renew. This is literally it's all done through Sport 80. You go through and do your I believe there is some sort of check. It did mention competency. So I think again that's going to make an assessor's job at Scouts UK a lot easier. To know that you are up to standard with everything that AGB's doing. I believe, obviously, Jesse, you are an assessor as well. So how's that going to make your life?
Yeah, so when it comes to the instructor scheme and the permit scheme that we run as Scouts, really what we care about most is that you're as up to date as possible and still safe when it comes to instructing young people in archery, following latest best practices. So we can assess internally if you're just renewing your Scout permit, and we follow the same standards that Archery GB follows as best we can. But if you have the Archery GB instructor's qualification or one of the coaching qualifications, and you have obviously your regular renewals process still stands through Archery GB, then all we need to do is see evidence of that, and and assuming that that's all up to date, and you follow best practices through them, that makes our lives so much easier. Obviously, we do still care about how you run the sessions with the scouts, and we often do ask to see a scout session that you're running, see how you run things, and it's a great opportunity for us as assessors to see how you run things, not only for us to assess you, but also for us to learn as well. I think it's fair to say that regardless of what level of coaching you are, regardless of what organisation you coach for, we can all learn from each other through observing each other's sessions and through helping out with each other's sessions. I don't think I've ever attended an archery session, either with the Scouts or with Archery GB, where I haven't learned something from the other coaches that have been there. And I've been coaching for quite a long time, and let's hope it stays that way. And I really enjoy seeing other people coach and learning from them, and seeing the techniques that other people use, especially when it comes to Scouts, because it's such a big organisation. It works with such a diverse group of people. Seeing how other leaders work with, for instance, young people with special needs or young people with disabilities that might affect their ability to shoot. And actually, the Scouts is fantastic for inclusion. And the way that our leaders persevere to make sure that everyone can take part in activities as best they can. And so, yeah, when it comes to sort of circling back to the assessment process and the reassessment process, as it were, at renewal time, the new Instructors Award does make things a lot easier for assessors, both at Archery GB and the Scouts, and it's good to see a good move forwards from Archery GB. And obviously, Archery GB are always trying to keep up to date with the latest and greatest when it comes to coaching knowledge and theory, and keeping everyone on the same page. And that has been a problem in the past, is people not keeping up to date with CPD and not keeping up to date with the latest knowledge when it comes to coaching and training people. And actually, that has caused issues in the past, but these days it's much better, and it's a good system.
And just one quick one from me to follow up, Jesse, because we were talking there about obviously coaches coming across to scouting. How would that differ? Would that be sort of just the same as if, say, Neil as a coach came to join NBA, that you'd just watch one of his sessions anyway? So just to check he was coaching. So would it be sort of like just the same sort of principle as if you were to go and be a current coach going to a new club? So is it that sort of thing that principle that you work on?
Yeah, it's very similar to that. So if you are a scout leader, you have access to the membership system online, and you can apply for a scout leadership permit through that, and just put down whoever your local assessor is as your assessor on that, and they'll get it notified through the Scouts website. They'll get told that they've been asked to assess you. When that happens, we have a standardized assessment checklist that we follow. So essentially, we would just come and watch a session. If you're already qualified, it's quite an easy process. Seeing that you're up to date, seeing that you're performing everything safely, performing kit checks, working well with the young people, working in a positive and constructive environment. And it's a very easy process to go through. I think a lot of people think that assessment sounds quite formal and quite strict and rigorous, and it's actually not. It's really friendly, and it's a good thing to do to ensure we're all on the same page.
Yeah. So sort of like if another coach came to NBA, we'd sort of watch how they do things and work with them. That sort of more very collaborative sort of working environment.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's how assessment should be.
Yeah, because we want to bring the best out of each other as best we can as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it, mate.
So going back to a moment ago, you were on about scouts with special needs or certain requirements that they might need in addition. How are you managing range safety with mixed ability groups or SEND scouts?
So for mixed ability groups, obviously there is always difficulties when it comes to working with kids with a wide range of abilities, whether that's due to additional needs or not. And as people running a range, we have to keep range safety in mind at all times. Obviously, standard range safety rules always apply. And if there is a problem, we have to stop a session and stop a problem from occurring. That's not ever an issue. If you're seeing a problem with the range and with range safety, you stop the session and you deal with the issue. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And in fact, I encourage anyone to do it. If you see a problem with range or range safety, stop shooting and deal with the problem. But when it comes to mixed ability, Often you might need additional instructors or additional volunteers to help those individuals with additional needs. Sometimes it might require more one-to-one work than you would with other young people. So I work mostly with the scout age kids. So that's 10 to 14 roughly, and for the most part, I will do some one-to-one with every single young person during a session. But when we have young people with additional needs, and actually in my group we have a lot of young people with additional needs, they need extra one-to-one support. And as an instructor, I'm happy to give that. Sometimes we run smaller sessions with fewer kids involved. That way people can have more one-to-one time. Sometimes we bring in an extra leader who can help out, whether that's an archery instructor or not, someone to be with that young person to remind them of the process they're working through. And of course, there is adaptive archery equipment as well. And while Scouts is, as I say, a charity and often run on quite a tight budget, there are grants out there for adaptive archery equipment. And there are a lot of Scout leaders with a great deal of ingenuity who are really good at making adaptive archery equipment. Obviously, I've seen people using tactile sights, even on Scout ranges, as well as things like supports for the bow arm, if someone is struggling to hold the mass of the bow up. And a lot of Scout campsites, especially now, also have the option of not only the standard wooden training bows that you expect, but also lightweight fiberglass bows. Because not only are those lighter, so if someone is struggling with holding the weight of the bow up, that aids them. But young people in wheelchairs may struggle with the length of a bow, especially if you're talking a 66 or 68-inch bow. And obviously, shorter bows mean that you get less contact with the ground or with the wheel of the wheelchair.
Indeed. I'm interested, have you either run any district or multi-group archery events? Is there anything different about trying to scale it up for a bigger... I have an example. I did Cub Mudder, which is an event run in Wigan district for... Well, it's actually Greater Manchester district, county even. Which is basically, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's essentially Tough Mudder, but for cubs. And for the last couple of years, or since I joined Scouting, in fact, this was the exact reason why I joined Scouting, because they were asking for help at Bispam Hall. So I actually jumped on and went to help them at Bispam to run the archery for them, and that's kind of how I got dragged into Scouting, funnily enough. With Cub Mudder, we had the whole... In fact, it was a county level event, so I kind of get... It was quiet all day up until like an hour before the end, and then they all wanted to do archery, and it's like, how do you manage like this many kids all standing there going, I really want to go, but I need to leave soon. But yeah, anything you've got there for yourself with the multi-group archery events?
Yeah, so I mean, I've run archery events with the Scouts from 2 young people all the way up to several hundred, and at the group level, it's not too difficult to manage, because you take a group onto the range, they all stand or sit at the waiting line, you give the safety talk, you run the session as you would normally run any session for a small group. When you get to larger events, you start doing queue management and dealing with, one person in, one person out. What I found best with that sort of event is actually to say, a queue is okay, because that means people are interested, but we have to manage the time spent in the queue, keep people engaged, and try to speed the queuing process up. And there's a lot of safety around archery that can be covered while someone is waiting, so that they don't have to get into the range and then wait, and that speeds the sessions up enormously. So what we've done before now with district events, especially in Lonsdale district, we've done it where we've had 1 or 2 leaders instructing on the range, 1 or 2 leaders at the front of the queue helping people put arm guards on and off, and 1 person halfway down the queue giving the safety talk. And that person's going to get very bored very quickly, because they're giving the same safety talk every 5 minutes for a couple of hours. But at the end of the day, we're aware of these things when we sign up and we volunteer, and these things have to happen. And of course, there's always the opportunity to switch out with other leaders. And this is actually a great way for people to get into the leading archery as well. You go down with your group to an event like a county rally, for instance, or a district camp, and your kids love the archery. They need more people to help out, so you stick your hand up and go, "Oh, go on, I'll help out just this once." And of course, as all scout leaders are gullible enough to do, I know I was one of them. And then you go, "Oh, well, this is actually quite fun. Oh, well, I'll help out some more." And before you know it, you've done half of what it takes to become an instructor already. You've learned about range safety. You've learned how to put arm guards on and off. You've learned how to check a bow is put up safely. And you do things like you can either do an instructor's course or a scout permit course, or you can work with an assessor outside of the available courses to build your knowledge to the state where you can be assessed for a permit and become an archery instructor, which I encourage any scout leaders that are listening that aren't already archery instructors to do. It's great fun. You'd love it.
Yeah, definitely.
So just to follow on, Jesse, what support would you think scout leaders will actually need going forward to be able to run archery events confidently?
Running events confidently. Very much depends on the leader and the support structure around them within their group, within their district, within their county. Obviously, not only do we need more instructors and more leaders who are wanting to step up and instruct archery for the Scouts, but we do also need more assessors, because the assessors don't just play a role in assessment. It's a bit of a weird title. When we get accredited to assess archery, we also just help out. We try to be supportive and help people out as much as possible. So if someone wants to achieve that permit or wants to learn how to instruct archery, we can point them in the right direction. And so if you are an archery instructor already and are capable of doing that, perhaps you're already supervising sessions rather than just running them on your own, then do get in touch with your county about being able to join an assessor team. So
you're about just joining my local county assessor team.
Please do. But nationwide, we do have a shortage of people who can assess. And I know I was talking to a group of assessors from West Lancs a few months ago about what is the demographic of archery assessors and sort of assessors in general for adventurous activities. And it's quite a small number of people in comparison to the average body of volunteers. And it's also an aging group, which isn't an issue. Obviously, it's great that people can still be involved and can still help out and can still pass on knowledge and information to others and to younger leaders. But it does put us in a position where we need more people who can support around us, as it were. So more people who can join that team and offer support, offer help, offer supervision even. But what I would like to see in an ideal world, as it were, is that within every group there may be one or two people who can instruct archery. Within every district, that means there are, depending on the size of the district, dozens, maybe hundreds, maybe even thousands for some larger districts of people who can instruct archery. And working together as a network of coaches to build each other up, to help each other, to support each other. And obviously that blooms and grows at a county level where we're doing the assessment and doing the permit renewals to be able to say, we're here to support you, to help you build your knowledge, to do your CPD. And that's something that actually West Lancs is very good at. Once a year, every year, we do an archery leaders day at Wadacre Scout Camp for archery leaders in West Lancashire. Where we run events like a clout shoot and a field shoot and a target shoot, because often leaders don't get the experience of being on the other end of those sessions. They don't get to do the fun having a shoot bit. They don't get to play the games that they're running because they're too busy running them. And actually having the experience of somebody else doing that and you taking part in the sport can really open your eyes as to what you can get out of it and what other people can get out of it when you lead. And of course can give you new ways in which you can lead the sport. Once you've got your instructor's permit for archery, you can obviously instruct. Most people do target archery, but perhaps if you've learned field archery, you can look at instructing field. If you've learned to do clout archery, maybe you can look at instructing clout and really broaden the horizons of the young people taking part in the sport. But obviously that needs to have that support network to build you up, to give you those skills and that continuing professional development, which I mean, I'm really glad we have that in West Lancashire, but I know not everyone is in that privileged a position. But it takes a grassroots movement to build that. The counties can't just appoint people to do it. We need to have people who want to do it in the groups, building up into the districts and then into the counties. If it's just the counties appointing people to do it, we won't have enough people to do the job. Whereas if everyone wants to pitch in, everyone wants to get involved. I mean, that's a big part of the flexible volunteering ethos we have as Scouts, is that if we all pitch in, we can do things a lot easier than if we ever leave any one person on their own. And, I know at my Scout group, we have quite a few leaders, and technically I am the team lead for the Scouts section. And there are a few other team members who volunteer as other leaders. But when it comes down to it, there are nights that I can't make that other people can, and they can run sessions. Sometimes someone needs something risk assessing and it's not their specialism. Maybe someone else on the team can risk assess that. The Scouts want to do one very specific activity, but the leader in charge doesn't know how to do that activity. Maybe someone else on the team can cover that, and we help each other out and we pitch in and we work collaboratively. And I think that's a big part of what Scouting is about, not only as a volunteer but as a young person, is collaborating with others and building each other up.
Absolutely. Just going back to what you mentioned about getting involved with like Clout and Field. From my experience, the archery ranges that are available at our local scout camps, such as Bispam and Dunham Massey. We're very, very lucky if we have room to do a 10-meter range. So hearing the fact that some places have got the ability to do clout is quite exciting. I may have to go and investigate these scout camps myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, space is at a premium in Britain regardless. We are an island nation. We only have a limited amount of fields to use, but there are scout camps. Scout camps tend to be fairly large spaces, but there are definitely camps where you can set up a clout range, obviously with the permission of the camp and enough space and overshoot. And I know Wadaka has run what they've called short distance clout, so a 70-meter clout shoot, which if you've got a 12-pound training bow for kids, 70 meters is an excellent clout distance. It's hard work, and kids love it. When they get anywhere near the flag, they love it.
That'll sound fun anyway.
Yeah. But when we've done that, we've taken about half of the site to do it, just because of the size of the field and the overshoot. And so it can only be done on special occasions. But when we have the opportunity, we've got to seize that opportunity. And I think it's fair to say that as Scouts, when we go around and talk to other local businesses, other local sports clubs, often they are quite accommodating. And if perhaps your Scout group doesn't have space to run field, maybe talking to your local field archery club, they might be able to help you out. If your Scout group doesn't, or your campsite doesn't have space to do a clout shoot, a lot don't, then talking to your local club, finding out where clouts are happening. And a lot of clubs that are heavily involved in clout do also do taster sessions for clout, because before you can compete in clout, you've got to learn how to do it safely. And if you can get a group of Scouts to go along to a clout taster session, I guarantee they'll absolutely love it. I mean, those sorts of sessions are great fun, and it's a great community activity if you can get a local club and a Scout group, or a local club and a Scout district together to do a sport together, to learn from each other and to have a bit of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what archery is. It's having fun.
Speaking of having fun, and being a Scout leader myself, I am fully aware of the lack of incentive for archery in Scouting. As far as I'm aware, now my badge knowledge isn't great. However, from my understanding, the only real badge that we have for Scouting is the Master at Arms. Now, obviously, it could probably drip into other things like, the adventurous stuff, outdoors challenge badges and stuff like that, for activities, that kind of thing. But there's one thing at Archery GB that we absolutely love, is a badge scheme. How do we feel that Scouting and Archery GB could come together and make a Scouts AGB pathway that will get people? Because at the end of the day, most Scouts, they tend to just do 1 or 2 sessions in a year, How do we get more? So this is one of my prime topics for my ambassadorship for AGB. Is how do we get more scouts doing archery more often? You know, I know a lot of groups might not necessarily have permanent access to a range, but something that maybe AGB could come up with the scouts to say, right, okay, this is what an archer is. This is what you can achieve as an archer, and how do we kind of like get that into a scout badge?
Yeah,
more than just the Master at Arms.
So you'll be glad to know there is more than just Master at Arms.
Yes, I know.
So,
it's being pedantic.
The Beavers Sports Badge, the Cubs Scouts and Explorers Physical Recreation Badge, archery can go towards both of them, as well as obviously Activity Plus badges relating to those badges, and for older Scouts and Explorers especially, instructor badges. So if they really enjoy taking part in archery and they want to help you instruct the sessions, they can earn a badge for that. And in fact, I have seen Scouts before who have the Master at Arms badge and the Activity Plus badge for it and the instructor badge for it, because they've loved doing the Master at Arms, they've joined their local club, they've earned the Activity Plus, then they've started helping out and they've earned the instructor badge. So there is some incentive, but it's difficult to find, I think, at times, and there isn't a specific archery badge or set of badges for the Scouts, which I'd love to see. I think a badge that says, you know, I've done archery, I've learned to score, learned how to shoot 2 or 3 different bow styles, something that matches the sort of beginner's course curriculum that a lot of clubs use, which I know the Master at Arms badge does to an extent. And I've said before, the way that I run Master at Arms badges, you get your Master at Arms badge and your beginner's certificate. They are the same as far as I'm concerned when I'm running them. That isn't necessarily always the case. You can work a Master at Arms badge around just different have-a-go sessions, doing slightly different things during those sessions. So you don't necessarily meet all the requirements of the beginner's certificate. But it's certainly something that can be worked in together. I think from an Archery GB standpoint, the 252 awards and the Progress awards are a great thing. But it's worth adding that World Archery also do some shorter distance progression awards for young people, which are quite feasible for Scout age.
Are we on about the feather awards?
I believe so, yeah.
Let's have a quick gander at those, because as far as I'm aware, the actual feather award requires actual knowledge of thingy to actually attain them. Let me just check.
Yeah.
Oh, they're quite pretty too.
They really are. Yeah.
I won one. I like collecting my badges. Maybe it's not the feather award. Or is it Arrow Awards?
Arrow Award sounds right.
Yeah, I know there's Feather Awards. There's also Arrow Award. I'm not sure what the difference between the two are. Let's just have a... Yes, it is the Feather and the Arrow Awards. So the 7 badges collected by achieving milestones in scores, skills, and archery knowledge, which are detailed in the program curriculum. So you've got red, yellow, white, black, blue, red, yellow. It starts off with red feather, yellow feather, white arrow, black arrow, blue arrow, red arrow, yellow arrow. So you've also got the Star, Silver Star, Target, and Arrowhead awards for performance as well. So it can be done at 10 meters as well. So this sounds perfect for scouting, actually.
Yeah. So the feather awards, the red feather can be done at 6 meters, and the gold feather can be done at 8 meters. So there are awards out there that Archery GB and World Archery administer that are absolutely applicable to young people in scouting at all levels. I mean, you can absolutely get Beaver Scouts at 6 to 8 year olds shooting 6 meters quite confidently after a few sessions. And the score that you have to hit for the feather awards is very much attainable with care and instruction.
There we go. I'm now promoting the feather and arrow in scouting.
Yeah, no, it's a great award scheme. I do kind of wish there were more of them, more of the feather and arrow awards, because of course scout groups are limited for space, and the higher up awards you need slightly more distance. Because the aim of the award scheme is to slowly incrementally increase the distance that you're able to shoot confidently and consistently. But it would be nice to see a few more awards like that, and especially Archery GB specific awards. I don't know if Archery GB is interested in that because, of course, they already do administer the Feather and Arrow Awards in the UK as the World Archery affiliated governing body in Britain. But it would be good to see more things like that young people can work towards and can earn. And I'd love to see that tie in with the Scouts more. I mean, a Scout badge for getting your Feather Award would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Are you listening, Scout UK?
Oh, also a challenge for listeners, perhaps, to come up with sending ideas for the sort of scheme they'd like to see as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, get as many ideas together as we can as well, because people might think, oh, wouldn't it be good if we had an award scheme like that? Could be a chance for people to give people a chance to chip in with them.
So, for any scout leaders out there that's listening and thinking, I'd love to run archery, but I don't know where to start. Well, now you know. Go and start on the instructor award, or go and speak to your district to see if you can get an assessment done for your adventurous activity permit. Yeah, who knows? You might end up with Jesse.
You might well.
Or me, because apparently I'm going to look into doing this as well now.
I really hope you do. You'll love it.
Yes, yeah. I've always wanted to get involved with the archery in scouting a little bit more, and I think becoming an assessor is the next step for me in that, at least anyway. So we've got the people, and we know scout leaders have the passion for doing this kind of stuff. You've now got the knowledge. So get out there and get archery out there for our scouts, for our young people. It's a great sport. I think we can all admit that. And the skills that they learn, and not just that, the sheer joy on their face when they actually get to be able to fire an arrow. You've got shooting. We know that. We've got all the other stuff they do. And this just seems to be something more exciting about archery. I don't know whether it's because it's a completely different way of firing a projectile.
You're part of it.
Yeah, exactly. You're part of the bow.
There's much more human element to it than there is to. Because I remember the first time I picked up an air rifle, I was as good playing about with that in my grandma's backyard as I was with a bow and arrow. So after years of shooting, it's because of that, it's not got you're not part of it as well. It's very much aim, pull a trigger, go. And whereas it's sort of archery, you're part of what's happening. So all of a sudden, a rifle, it's very mechanical. All of a sudden, there's this big organic lump that's handling the bow, and I think that's what makes it for me as well.
Mm. Oh yeah, and there is something about the bow and arrow. I mean, the history of archery is the history of humanity. Yeah. When it comes down to it, it's in our blood. We've been using bows and arrows since prehistoric times, and
cross continent.
There is a thing when it comes to like media that children watch and are interested in. I mean, Robin Hood. Look at the Brave. And,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, kids love the archery. It's great fun, and when they get to take part in it, they put themselves in the shoes of Merida, of Robin Hood, of the archer in the media that they enjoy seeing, and Hawkeye.
Legolas from when I was a kid.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, well, of course, Legolas had to get thrown in there. I came up with an idea for a T-shirt. With a quote, and it was something along the lines of, "The arrow flies true, not by force, but by trust. You do not command the bow, you honour it." And I think that kind of sums up what Nye was just saying about you being part of the bow. I'm feeling that now. I need to get that on a T-shirt. Okay, so we are going to be actually opening a merch store soon. Obviously, we have got our podcast shirts, which you can get from Lionheart already. We are going to be opening the merch store with a couple of designs that we've got on the radar at the moment. I'm going to have to whip up one with that quote, because I like that quote, and I really need that on a t-shirt. So before we wrap up this episode, we have our usual segments to go over. So this is where Nigel usually jumps in, and we'll go for our retrospective. So basically, we're looking at any competitions that we've been at that basically need some love, whether it's very well attended, or they're really well attended and don't get as much. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for.
Love. Don't get the love
don't get the love they deserve for all the effort that they're putting into. So, Nye, have you got anything for us?
So it's been, again, low volume for myself, but I'm getting out and about in the next month or so. But one thing we've been doing a bit at NBA recently is our own handicap league. I know we're going to do. Me and Neil we've been talking about how we're going to do some stuff about activities clubs do in-house to try and get people shooting more. And good chance to mention it because Jesse has been good enough to help me with the design of the setup of the tournament. And Jesse's also our records officer, so we've been between us working out how to fill in as many blank spaces as we can in the record books. And so far, not want to pat us on the back, but people seem to be enjoying it as well. So I think that's been my look back. We had ours just, as of time of recording, just last week. And we've had quite a few archers who've taken a step up on the distances or the difficulty of rounds. And we've had one of our younger members who, on the back of it, just said, shot 30 yards, 20 yards, or 30 metres, 20 metres, sorry. And they said, might have a go at 40 afterwards. No problem, back on, smashing it right away. So it's been good for that. Good to see everyone, taking the chances and getting the rewards for it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm giving some love to some competitions, I'm a big lover of long distance archery. I love the bit of extra challenge, so clout and flight especially. So flight archery is something that I love doing. It is purely shooting for the furthest distance you can possibly shoot. If you look on the NCAS website, ncas.co.uk, and you click on the flight menu there, you'll find forms to sign up for both the Northern Counties Flight and the National Flight Championships. And if you look at the Cumbria Archery website, you'll find a form to sign up for their flight competition. You don't need to have tried it before. You don't need to have any knowledge or any experience in flight archery whatsoever. You can literally just sign up to the competition, turn up on the day, and someone there will teach you how to do it. The great thing about flight archery is because it's quite a small niche part of the sport, everyone loves helping each other out. And so if you're not sure quite how to do something, what angle to point the bow at, how far back you can get away with pulling the bow, where you need to aim, things like that, someone will just step in and help out. It's the sort of thing that we love doing. And I've even seen people going as far as saying, here, try this bow at a flight competition before now, which is a level of trust most target archers wouldn't dare give to a random stranger. But for flight, we just love pushing our equipment to its limits and just seeing how far we can make an arrow just fly through the air. And that's a part of the fun of the sport and part of the love of the sport. And I think that's something that everyone should have a chance to have a go at. And you never really know what your bow's capable of until you've really put it to the test. One thing I would say, if you want to try flight, go to a flight competition. Don't just try it at your local club. Most people think their bow can shoot like 90, maybe 100 yards. Most recurve bows can shoot in excess of 300 if you actually try. So do try at a competition where they have the requisite overshoot, where they have the safety measures in place, and where they have people to help out.
And also, just to go for us on the episodes wise, a shameless plug for our flight episode, because probably don't know if I mentioned it, Jesse, but we had Steph on a while back to talk to us with flight as well. So, another shameless plug for a previous episode. Have a follow on from what Jesse said. If you want even more detail, have a listen and to what Steph could had to chip in as well with her. Yeah. So and also to go on from that, Jesse, what a shoot that you've been to you've recently attended that you want to give a shout out to.
One I've recently attended, I want to give a shout out to. Oh, I attend so many competitions. There's so many to choose from. I'll be honest. I've absolutely loved quite recently going to the Bucks, the British University and College Sports Outdoor Championships. I didn't perform very well there. I never do. It's always a bit of a laugh for me. I don't know what it is about Bucks competitions. I just can't shoot well at them. But they are always so much fun. There's such a great community and a great environment. So many people, especially people who've only taken up the sport at university, so they've been shooting 1, 2, maybe 3 years, just coming in, giving it a go, trying their best, giving it their all, and having fun. And at the end of the day, that's what these events are about. Although I will say the on-running joke at Bucks is that when the whistle is blown and you're about to stand up and shoot your end, you should probably sit down and wait for them to call for the equipment failure that's just happened. Because there are so many people that have only just taken up the sport, it's guaranteed to happen most ends. But that's a part of the game, and it happens to us all, and we've all been there. We've all been on the line at a competition, had an equipment failure, and that's one of the competitions where if it happens, it doesn't matter. Everyone's friendly about it, even though it's world record status. Everyone's quite happy with it because lots of people are learning. And it's a great environment.
It's within the rules to cover that kind of eventuality because it does happen. So yeah,
you get
don't panic.
A nice place to learn, a supportive environment to have those things happen as well. Because I have to say, from your stories, mate, it does look a really fun shoot to attend as well.
Yeah. Although, speaking of equipment failures, I will also shout out and thank Eccles Archery Club for some of the shoots they've run recently. I only say equipment failures because I had one. Had an arrow rest go on me on, I think it was day 2 of their 720 weekend. And I mean, of course, as always, the judges were lovely about it. Everyone was lovely about it. People panic when these things happen, but it's just a part of the game. Equipment fails, and everyone there is going through the same experience in the same boat. And of course, as Neil said, it's something that the judges are all prepared for. It's fully expected it happens. And when it happens, people are lovely about it. And I do find that the environment at the shoots that Eccles runs is also great, and the food is incredible.
I will also add, from a judging point of view, it ticks one of our boxes on our forms that we need to fill in. So please don't be worried about having an equipment failure. It helps us out more than you realise.
Oh, it sounds like. Here's one. How do you reckon the food at Eccles compares to Asherton? Because Asherton so far is the podcast gold standard for food that we have put on.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't been to a competition at Asherton yet, so I'll have to go and try some of the food out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like our gold standard that we hold everywhere else to.
They are very close. I don't know. I think I might have to have another round of trying both, and then I'll make a decision.
We have sweet food.
Yeah, that's all we'll be turning up for now. We're going to do podcast coverage and eating your food.
So essentially, what we've discovered is that if you want a good meal at an archery competition, go to around Manchester, and there's always good food there.
Yeah. Oh, and Wigan, and also Neil shoots they've always had decent food on, but Asherton's still the one to beat. And Keswick for June soup.
June soup is good.
I guess we need to step up then. No, Anne's cooking is brilliant. I love our caterers.
I've always loved it what Anne's put on for us as well.
But she is very traditional of Wigan. It's always pies. We're from Wigan. It's got to be done. Yeah. So, but anyway, let's move on to our final segment because I'm very conscious of how long this episode's getting. So
you can everything I've said.
Yeah. So our unsung. This is Nye's favourite. Nye was the one that brought this one in. So basically, anybody that's been in your, it doesn't even matter how long ago it was. If there's anybody in your archery career that you want to give a shout out to, that's gone a little bit under the radar. Nye, have we got any for you this month?
I think for me, I was gonna. let's have a. I'm gonna have to ask to come back to us in a sec for a bit, if that's all right. I've not come prepared myself today for my own section. So, Jesse, I don't know if there's anyone for yourself.
I've got one.
Oh, Neil. Neil, takes away.
Not necessarily somebody I know personally. I have met them. I have spent a couple of hours on the line with them as a judge at a recent competition, but I don't. Everybody knows who this person is, and if you don't, have you been living under a rock? However, I'd like to give a shout out to NCAS's new sport development officer. He's one and only Alex Wise. So he has taken over the role from Yvonne. Some very, very big shoes to fill, I must admit. However, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Alex can do for NCAS, and wish him all the best of luck in the role.
Yeah, congratulations, Alex. Looking forward to working with you.
That's good to hear that Alex is taking on that role. I mean, obviously he's a very experienced and very good archer, and having that background will really help, I think. But he does have some very big shoes to fill, because Yvonne did an excellent job in the role as well.
She was brilliant, Yvonne. Yeah. And
so my shout out, I think I want to shout out to Ian Robinson from Morecambe Bay Archers. So Ian was my mentor for both my level 1 coaching qualification and for my development coach qualification. So I've learned a lot from Ian over the years, and I don't think he's massively well known in the archery and coaching community wider than the Cumbria area, but he's a fantastic coach, a fantastic friendly face on any range, and the way that he works with archers, especially new archers, especially nervous archers, is fantastic, and the approach he has to helping people out and to just pitching in, digging in, and doing everything he can to support people is fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll just echo what you say there, Jesse, and we're thanking Ian, because you can guarantee any events that the club have going on, he's there ready to ready to help support you in the background, or when we come to tournament setting up and things. I know full well I can come into clubhouse and set all the tech stuff up, because I know full well Ian's taken charge of the practicalities of doing the range and things. So I know full well that, and he sort of, what do you need from me? Right, there you are. You do your thing. I'll do this. Yeah, very, very good, steady pair of hands to run the club for us as well. So yeah, thank you, Ian. We're gonna have to make him listen to the episode now.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely. Okay, a final segment. This is our quickfire round. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions. Now, the whole point of this, it's a quickfire round. So, literally, the first thing that comes to your head.
I'm panicking already.
Basically, it's fine. We'll do it one after the other. So I'll start now. You follow. You know, do I need to send you them again?
I've got them up already, man.
Good man. Okay, so are you ready, Jesse? Okay. Favorite snack after a shoot?
Pizza.
One thing you'll never leave home without on competition day?
Car keys. I can't.
Coolest thing about being an archer?
Coolest thing about being an archer is the friends we made along the way. Not only in the meme way, but also in archery is a great sport with so many great people taking part in it, and it's always fun to make new friends and enjoy the sport together.
And if your bow could talk, what would it say about you?
Ow, stop that. Stop it. Ow. Ah.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors. As far away, target as far away as you can.
I should hope so for a scout leader.
And funniest thing that's happened to you at competition?
I have hit the deck in the mud several times. I've just walked through a muddy field and slipped. Does that count?
Yeah, that'll do.
I don't name which competition, but several of them.
Okay, dream place to shoot archery.
Dream place to shoot archery. I don't know if you're familiar with Elvington Airfield, just outside of York. As I mentioned my love of flight archery earlier, it is where the Northern Counties and the Nationals is held, and it's a fantastic venue, just one long strip of grass going hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards into the distance.
And then, last but not least, Would you rather shoot 100 arrows at a giant marshmallow or 10 at a moving target?
I'm going to go with the 100 at a giant marshmallow, but while I normally shoot all carbon arrows, I do love all carbon arrows, I'm going to shoot aluminiums, that way I don't have carbon dust in it and I can then eat the marshmallow.
Good thinking, my friend.
First person who's actually thought of that. Doing dynamic risk assessments.
Scout leaders.
Yeah.
Oh, the big question as well. We've been talking about and then over to the national flight, Jesse. Are we dragging? Are we going to drag Neil along with us as well?
Oh, I think we've got to. Sorry, you've not got a choice in this, Neil. You're coming and doing flight with us. You'll love it.
The
Trust
NBA
me.
crowd, and we can do some recording. We can record and shoot at the same time.
Yeah. I believe this year I don't know if it's the Northern Counties or the Nationals, at one of them there is going to be a film crew filming some of what's going on. I could be mistaken in that. I'll double check that now. But that and the Unstrung Archery podcast might be excellent.
Yeah. Hey, we could be in there.
I'll just double check this. I think I saw it posted in the British Flight Archery. By the way, there is a British Flight Archery Facebook group where just people
well worth
from
joining.
the country who shoot in and around Britain and shoot flight archery, just talk about the sport and look at the competitions and organise the competitions. Yeah, so I don't know if this is public information or not. It's on a big Facebook group, so it's got to be relatively public. Josef Monas from Hungary is planning to visit as a part of a tour taking the UK, Norway and USA with a film crew as well documenting his tour. So that could be a good opportunity to get the film and Unstrung Archery covering the event. I should have checked whether that was the Northern Counties or the Nationals. That was what I was checking for.
Okay, so that's it for this episode of Unstrung Archery. I want to say a big thank you to Jesse for the chin wag. I could talk about skating and archery for hours. And luckily for you guys, you've got at least an hour out of us today. So if you're in skating or in archery and you want to build the bridge between the two, let's talk. You know where we are. Our contact details are always on the show. If you want to get into running your own archery and scouting as well, get in touch with your district and they can obviously try and get you set up as with an adventurous activity permit, get you through the instructor award. And until next time, shoot straight, stay curious, and keep championing those young people. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time.
Before we sign off, we want to hear from you guys, our amazing listeners. If you have any questions, stories, or insights you'd like to share, we'd love to feature your voice on our next episode. Just hit that recording button on your phone or computer and send your voice clip to us. You could be part of the conversation. Plus, we are building a vibrant archery community on our Discord server. It's the perfect place to connect with fellow archers, share your experiences, and stay updated on all things Unstrung Archery. You'll find the links to both our voice submission platform and our Discord server on our link tree or in the episode description below. Your voice matters and we can't wait to have you join the discussion. Until next time, keep those questions coming and stay safe in your archery journey.